Hi, my name is Hannah McGrath, and I'm a high school science teacher at a hybrid school in northern Colorado. I currently am teaching anatomy, biology, chemistry, earth science, and environmental science. My goal with creating this video is to show you a few resources that I have found immensely helpful as we've had to shift to remote learning, and I hope you come away with a few different tips and tricks you can use to make activities more engaging for students and simulate that hands-on lab activity as much as possible. So I'm going to run through what I use to do virtual labs, how I'm doing online lab group discussions, and then a couple ways I've found to make creating and then students filling out those lab write-ups as easy as possible. So for virtual labs, I use a program or software called PhET, and it is free. All the resources today are free. And for lab group discussions, I've been experimenting with Padlet. And then for lab write-ups, Google Drive has been immensely helpful with this, but I'm going to show you an extension that allows students to treat PDFs as worksheets, which can make it a little easier for everybody. So let's jump on over to PhET first. And PhET is a free resource, provides tons of simulations. You can see there's a lot of topics they cover. If you're new to PhET, I would highly recommend starting in the HTML5 section, because these don't require your students to download anything. And so let's go ahead and take a look at acid-base solutions, because this is one I'm using with my chemistry students next week. And if it's HTML5, all they have to do is click play, and it will load the simulation, and everything should work seamlessly. If it's an older version of a simulation, the students can still use it, but it does require them to actually download it and then run it with Java. And sometimes for some districts with various different virus protection software, etc., that can be problematic. So HTML5 I think is the easiest because they just click play and it plays. And you'll notice with these, first of all, actually let me go back, skipped over that a little fast. There's two different screens, and so in your instructions you'll want to tell students where to start, because once they do get into the simulation, unless you give them specific instructions, it's very open-ended, and so they can play with things, turn different things on, add different tools, all sorts of stuff to just explore on their own and make that learning a lot more natural. But they do get a little frustrated if they don't have some guidance. So I would highly recommend giving a few tips and tricks at a minimum. So if we go back to that page where I found the simulation, if you go to the For Teachers section and scroll down, you'll see a host of resources. And I'm just going to start with the first one. They're not all the same because it's all just free stuff that other teachers have chosen to share. But usually there's a Word version and a PDF version of whatever's offered for whichever works easier for you. And oftentimes, hopefully, answer keys, but potentially also full lesson plans. In order to access this, you do have to have an account. It's free, but you have to sign up with your district email address so that they know you're a teacher and not a student that's accessing those answer keys. But otherwise, everything is there. And you can dig around more if you want, but this is kind of where I live with these. The one topic it doesn't cover the best is anatomy, but otherwise you can find a lot of helpful simulations here. What I like to do with those assignments then is, instead of putting them as a Word file where students have to download it, edit, then re-upload to turn it in and potentially mess up formatting and all of that, I have started putting things on Google Drive as PDFs. So for students who are from home and don't have like a laptop that can download things, maybe they're only using a tablet, this still lets them access everything and they can still fill in their answers, and Google Drive automatically saves their responses so there's no worry that their work will be lost. But as a PDF, they can't just fill it in directly. So what I've been doing is I have uploaded things as PDFs, and then if they add this extension to Chrome, so it's another free resource, Kami, then they can actually write on this as though it is a worksheet. So they have to install that extension first. But once they do, they are able to type directly on there, and here's a comment that I started before. But if I wanted to finish that, I could just click on the text and start typing in, and notice that I had navigated away from it and even come back to it, and it saved my responses because it's hosted in Google Drive. Now, this is on my account, so it's automatically saving, but what will happen is as students fill in even one markup, it will prompt them and say, oh, it looks like your responses aren't saving. Please create a copy of this in your Google Drive. So it prompts them to create their own. So they don't have to worry about navigating away and losing their information. They're also able to draw, which has been a helpful feature. So down here, I have a section where I want students to draw ions, and they can scribble all through there. There's an eraser so they can undo what they've done. You'll notice there's a few locked features, which seem super helpful, but it does require a paid version of the account, and so far I haven't found that necessary. And then when students turn this in, they'll just grab the link to share from Google Drive, and that's all they need to turn in to me. And so I have an example of a different worksheet that a student completed using Kami, and you can see how they typed over the lines. And it's beautiful to use this in PDF because then these lines don't shift on them as they're typing. It doesn't mess up the formatting, and basically each activity will start where I know it starts on a page, so I can skim through and find the work that I'm looking for a lot easier. What I'm then able to do is also use the comment feature, and by clicking on comment, I can then highlight something and leave them feedback, saying, yep, you got it, or here, a correction, and help their learning that way too. So they don't need any other outside program other than Google Drive. The last topic I wanted to run through was how to do lab group discussions, because this is a piece that I find is very difficult with remote learning, but students learn so much from talking through things together. So I've started trying Padlet, where I'll give an example, and so for that lab write-up that I showed you, one of the conclusion questions is, strong acids completely dissociate in water, and they have to say always true, sometimes true, or false, and then because. And so I'm having them put their conclusion questions in here, and then they can reply back to each other and leave comments on each other. So I could add a comment in here of, I disagree, etc. And then that would be posted for the person to pop back in and take a look at. So think of it like a bulletin board where they can leave notes for each other, and you can break them into groups if you wanted, just like 4 or 5 students at a time to work on one of these. Padlet is also free, but it does only give you 4 accounts, or 4 of these bulletin boards, so to say, but you can always delete them and start over and still stay within your 4 limit if you need to. So that sums up everything I was going to run through. There is one more resource on here called Explore Learning, and that is a paid resource, but I have found it very helpful for anatomy resources if you're an anatomy teacher. And I currently share it with our middle school science teacher and actually our high school math teacher, because it's got some fantastic math resources as well. So that might be a way to make a paid account for that a little more affordable. So there are links to everything. The Kami extension, you just have to go to the Chrome Web Store and you can install it instantly from there. And if you have any questions on how to use these resources, there are tutorials all over YouTube that run through it really quickly. I hope you have found this helpful, and I wish you the best of luck with remote learning as we try and navigate this crazy time. So good luck, and you're doing a great job.